Hello and happy Tuesday. My name is Wendy Lee from CreativeLeeYours.com, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. And so fun that you joined me today. I'm so excited about it. We are going to have a little bit of crafty fun today with some of our new products from our January to June 2022 mini catalog. Yes, it's February 1st, 2022, and the start of a new month always brings lots of good stuff. So a couple announcements before we get started is the new All-Star Tutorial Bundle is out. It's available for purchase, available to earn for free, which is even better, right? With a $50 purchase through my online store, you can get that as a gift for free from me as part of my rewards program. So I've got lots of good stuff for you. I also just posted, should I pull out a sneak peek? I just posted a new framed art class featuring one of my favorite products. Let me pull up. See if I can find it. Here it is. Cute, right? All right, I don't want to have you look at it too long, but it is featuring the Rainbow of Happiness bundle. This one is out for you guys. You can do the full kit, and I ship it to you with lots of products and all your goodies. And you got a PDF tutorial with the step-by-step pictures and verbiage to create that on your own. So it's lots of fun. There will be a tutorial only option available as well for those of you that prefer that. We also have our Maker's Mojo. I don't know if you guys joined us for that or not, but if you missed it, oh my gosh, it was so good this time. We have 10 live presentations with lots of great alternate samples. The whole point of the event is to get you inspired to use the products you have on hand, right? So we show lots of alternatives and fun stuff like that. But that tutorial bundle is available for purchase as well. So you can find that on my website, CreativeLeeYours.com, and it is in my online classes. You'll have to scroll down a little bit for the Maker's Mojo. I have them grouped together, working on that still. Okay, so what are we making today? I've got a good one. So this one right here, we're going to spotlight. I'm going to show you a little spotlighting. So this is a white tone-on-tone card, but we're going to talk about the layers. We're going to talk about the spotlighting and how I achieve that and have a little fun with our artfully layered stamp set and coordinating tropical layers dies. So this is the product suite. The Artfully Composed Suite is what we're featuring this month in our All-Star Tutorial Bundle. Great product suite. All right, let's switch the camera over and let's start a little crafty fun, right? All right, there is the Artfully Layered Stamp Set and coordinating dies. So let's see. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. I can see you guys. Oh, yay. Good. Good to see Susan and Mary and Jean. And I'm sure I missed a few of you because comments scroll by pretty quick and are hard to see sometimes. But we are featuring the Artfully Layered Stamp Set that is in the mini catalog. Oops. I keep knocking this off. And these are the tropical layers dies that coordinate with it. So I love that there's a fun border. Always love a fun border. And then you've got some images that will cut out the stamped images like this one and this one. You can cut out with these more open dies. And then these detailed dies you can use as standalone objects. And then there's even some that add a little texture, which is fun. And then this is great. This is going to be a great set for collage type cards, in my opinion. And I'm sure we will be doing all kinds of fantastic things with it. But I love this little kind of in and out words there because that's great for a background. And I love the font. They're good sentiment. So, all right, let's get a little bit of fun in. So again, let me pull in the card that we're going to create today. So this is the project we're making. And again, it's for the most part a white card. And let me pull this up so you can see the textures. So there's layers and texture. And we're going to do this little spotlighting. So such a simple card, but gorgeous, right? So you can do this with just about any of your stamp sets if you wanted to. And then on the inside, I don't know if you guys can see it or my lighting is messing that up or not, but it's white on white layered. Do we need it? Not necessarily, but boy, doesn't it add a nice finishing touch to the project to just give it that final finish touch. So Jean, what are you saying? Whatever you do, do not convince me I need this bundle. It's actually a really good one. And I think when you see the All-Star tutorial bundle and what the team has done with it, it's going to go on your I must have it list. Yes. Hey, Gwen, so glad you're here today as well. All right, so let me slide that over to the side and let's get started. So after the video, I will go in and add the complete supply list. So if you need any of these products, you can just click on the link and add them to your shopping cart. And hopefully you'll earn not only the All-Star Tutorial Bundle, but we still have a celebration going on right now. So for every $50 that you spend for shipping and tax, you get to choose a freebie from our celebration product offering as well. All right, so we're going to start with a basic, actually a thick basic white, woo, card base, 5.5 by 8.5. I'm just going to fold that in half. I like to use the thick cardstock when I'm using white and vanilla for my card bases, for the most part. Not always, but most of the time I do. Oh, good, you love this technique. Yay, I love it when we already are excited. Okay, and like I said, on the inside, I actually didn't do any stamping. You totally could, but I'm going to layer a 5.25 by 4-inch piece of basic white just on the inside there, just to give it that nice finishing touch. I didn't stamp on the inside because, oh, I grabbed a tape runner that's almost empty. I'm going to have to run across the room at some point, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, it just adds a really nice finishing touch, and I've left this blank on purpose because sending all the hugs, there's many reasons, many occasions that you could send hugs for, right? So this would be a lovely sympathy card. You could do it for just to say hello to a friend, right? Why not just send out some cards to let people know we're thinking about them? It's just it gives you a warm feeling, it gives them a warm feeling. But we're just adding a little bit more to make this special on the inside. So of course, please feel free to stamp the images on the inside, add a stamped sentiment. I did this so I can just add a really nice note on the inside when I send this out to my friend. Okay, so I'm gonna slide this aside. Let's start working on our focal point. So I've got my piece of basic white cardstock right here. And what I did, now this, you won't see this in the supply list because it's a template. You can cut your template out of whatever you want to cut it out of. I actually like to use, you know, that white, it's kind of a cardboardy type paper that is in our, the back of our designer paper packs, right? I like to take that and save quite a bit of it. I just threw away a huge bunch of it, but I like to save it and cut it into templates, right? So I made this, I played with it a little bit, and I found that cutting it the same size as my card base was actually my best option. When I cut it smaller, I found that because this is a narrow border here, I found that I was getting ink on the outside of the card, on the layer, outside of where I wanted it, right? So I needed a better mask. If I cut it too big, I wasn't sure where I was on over the top of the layer. So you could pull in your grid paper, which is fantastic, and I don't use it as often as I should, right? It would make life so much easier if I would, because we could lay it down, tape it, lay the template over the top, tape it, and that would work fabulously. But nope, I like to do it the hard way, right? So I've got my silicone craft sheet, I've got my layer, and then I've added my template and just a little bit of painter's tape. You can use, if you want to use like a washi tape, you can totally do that. So the way I created the template is I decided how big I wanted my spotlight to be, right? So you could spotlight in any shape, really. So if you've got squares or triangles or hearts or whatever shape makes you happy that you want to do, use it, right? So I've chosen a circle. So I've just taken, I think it's the second largest. Nope, third largest. Let's try. Yep, third largest circle for my layering circles die. So I am using these a ton. So if you guys don't have some of the basic layering dies, I recommend you add those on your list because you will use them more than you know. You may not even realize you missed them at this point, right? All right, so I'm going to start off with soft succulent ink. So let me open this up and I'm going to grab a scrap paper to put over on the side as well here, just so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit. Oh, my tape came up. I may need to tape down that one. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. Let me tape down this layer so that it doesn't move on me. So I've even got a piece of painter's tape already rolled up ready to go to take that down. I just was thinking I didn't need it. And then we'll lay our template back over the top here. And it may not want to stick because our silicone craft sheet is so fun and crafty. You know, we can take it off there. All right, so I'm taking a blending brush. If you guys haven't used the blending brushes, oh my gosh, they're awesome. They blend super well. And this is such a nice, I just want to touch it, right? It's soft and there's so many bristles in here. It's just beautiful. So I'm literally going to drag this across my ink pad, and I didn't check it to make sure I was nice and inked. So I did this project last week and I've used this pad. So hopefully we don't struggle today, but we might. You never know. You never know. So I'm just going to brush off a little bit onto my scrap. And then I like to use a circular motion when I'm using my blending brushes. You don't have to, but I like it because I find I get a little better results, right? So I'm using this die cut window as a guide to just brush on this ink. Now, you'll be surprised at how much ink you actually have on your cardstock when you lift off this template. So you could lift it off and check it a few times if you wanted to. I'm just going to go all in, right? And I like to layer a little bit at a time versus going too dark, too fast, right? Again, you do what makes you happy. Maybe you wanted to do a different color. You could change the color. I think this would be beautiful in blue. Actually, it'd be beautiful in any color. I like the tonal appearance of this because I think it's nice and soft and subtle, but I think it would also be fabulous with maybe some stark contrast, right? So you could put some black in there. Let's see, what are you saying? Hey, Jennifer, so glad you're here as well. Triangles. Yes, that would be a nice contrast to this. Very unexpected as well. Yeah. I love that idea, Jean. I'm going to go just a little bit darker. I'm trying not to go too heavy on my ink too quickly because I still want to be able to see that die cut element that I'm putting on top that's tone on tone, right? And I purposely leaving that out, that little center a little bit lighter. For whatever reason, I am not getting any ink in this corner, even though I keep starting in this corner. Did you notice that I keep going back to that corner? And it may be my angle. It may be the way I'm seeing it. But all right, I'm going to call that quits. We're going to be happy with this, I think. And let's see what our results are. So I'm going to pull away my blending brush and an ink pad, and then let's remove our template and see what we've got. See, it's so much more ink than you might have thought by looking at it with the template, right? Because this is all dirty. Cute, right? So fun. All right, the next thing we want to do. Oh no, did I just lose you? Nope. Do I ever use two colors of ink in the same circle? Susan, that's a great idea. And yes, you totally could do that. Wouldn't this be great is if you really wanted a stark edge along the outside, I could see running some of the evening evergreen or any other coordinating green, right, along the outside. You could also two-tone it. Maybe you do a kind of an ombre appearance to this. So you could start out lighter and go darker colors, you know, as you work down your shape. It's really up to you. I say play with it and have fun with it, right? There's no right and wrong to it. That's one of the things I love about paper crafting is that you make it your own. All right, I'm bringing in my evening evergreen and one of the sentiments from the stamp set, the Artfully Layered, sending all the hugs. I love that. It's just so sweet. Now, I'm going to hopefully get this straight, but I am going to overlap a little bit into my spotlight and a little bit off of my spotlight. So it's kind of crossing over. Okay, we're done. No, I'm just kidding. We could be done and it would still be a fabulous card as it is. All right, so I don't typically do this, but I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine because now we need to add texture. And I wanted to show you guys this because anytime you're gonna stamp, but you wanna emboss your layer, I highly recommend doing all this first and then running it through to get the texture because you're going to find out that you're going to get better results. I could try this after I added the texture, but then my texture is going to change the way my ink is going to take into that circle, and same thing with the way it's stamped. Some textures are more difficult to stamp over the top of than others. I'm going to use the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder, which is one of my absolute favorites. And it's because it's got such a subtle texture to it. It's 3D, so it's a nice texture, but it is kind of an all occasion texture, I guess you could say, for lack of a better way to say it. As we're saying, I can tell. All right, now I know this is weird, but I'm going to turn my machine left-handed because my handle is in the way if I don't. Oops, and it looks like, see, I don't have a good setup for running through the die cut embossing machine. Now, because this is a wider folder, I cannot use the mini for this. So I'm going to bring in my platform. One of the things I love about this great machine is that it gives me instructions on what I need. So right here, using with 3D embossing folders, and it shows me a picture. I need my base one. I'm going to put my card in, and then I need plate 4. And all of our plates are numbered, right? So I got 1 and I got 4. So let's put 1 in there. Maybe I can angle this and you guys can see a little bit better. So there's 1. I'm going to take my layer and put it inside my embossing folder. And I like to feel it. So you've got one side that you can feel as raised and one that's kind of, I'm going to say this wrong, concave. It goes in, right? So if you push it, you can kind of feel that there's things that go down in. So I like to put it facing up on the raised side because I like my textures to be raised up. Now, this folder is fantastic and it really doesn't matter which way you do it. The next thing you want to check is you want your fold in if you can. Fold goes in first. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Yes, Jean, it is a super sentiment for the pandemic or anytime. Yeah, completely. Does the rubbed on ink dry really fast? I think it does, Susan. Our inks are fantastic and do dry very, very quickly. And I put a light amount relatively on it, so it's not sopping wet with our classic inks. Now, some of our other inks might be a little bit too moist. All right, so I've made my sandwich here, and I'm just going to hold on to this, which totally blocks your view. But you can see I am just cranking this through. This machine has fabulous pressure, nice even pressure. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love the Big Shot, but I will tell you this one is a little nicer, I think, to use. So if your Big Shot's giving you trouble and you're looking for a replacement, I highly recommend adding this. Or if you need a second machine for, you know, maybe grandchildren's house, maybe you're babysitting, or, you know, you go on crops and things like that. Now, because I forgot to take the tape off the back, look, it's stuck to my folder, but no worries. This is one of the great things about using painter's tape, which it actually textured the tape as well, is that this is removable tape. So I should be able to get this off. Although putting it through the machine like that does kind of give it a nice push. Good or bad, throw that tape away. All right, so now I've got my great texture added on top, right? So nice. And we're ready to go ahead and let's put our layers together and then we'll get into our die cut piece. So I have got another piece of basic white that I've cut, that I'm going to layer this right on top, and I'm going to do a lot of popping up. If you don't want to put dimensionals on it, don't put dimensionals. This can be flat and still be fabulous, right? You guys know I love, 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 love all the texture, especially on a card like this where it's so simple and you've got these white on white layers. It just adds a really nice, really, really nice touch to it, I think. Okay, so hopefully that's somewhat straight. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to dimension the next layer on as well. Again, you don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. So there's actually multiple ways to do a spotlighting technique. You could spotlight just a portion of the stamped image by coloring it in, or I've done it many different ways. Embossing it in a different color, like if you had it, your cardstock could change color. For example, let's say I had a big stamped image and it was on white and I stamped it in black. And then maybe this spotlight is a black piece with it stamped and embossed in white. Does that make sense? I'll have to show you that so that you can understand what I'm talking about, since I don't make whole lot of sense. All right, Fabulous layering, right? Really, really looks like it's got a nice finish. Let me slide this over, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in some soft succulent cardstock and some of the fabulous Shimmer Vellum. Now, anytime I do intricate dies, I like to use the adhesive sheets, and ours come in these 6x12 lengths, and there's multiple sheets in here, and I actually cut mine down. So I cut this to fit this cardstock. So you literally peel it off the sheet, and you can tell I did some die cutting. Lay it right on top, right? Grab the dies, which I have completely buried. There they are. All right. So originally I used this for my leafy image on my first sample, right? So flip it back over. I just lay this on here and run this through the machine. And because it's detailed, and because I have the adhesive sheet on the back, run it twice. If it makes you feel better, run it a third time if you need to, okay? I'm going to do something different just to have a second sample. I'm going to switch to this detailed die. So we're going to cut this one out. So I need 2 out of the soft succulent. And then I'm going to put it, actually I've already run this. So I've got adhesive sheet already on the back of this. And I'm going to do 1 in the Shimmer Vellum. So let me run that. I did it ahead of time. You guys know. All right. So here's my little pieces here. Why did I use adhesive sheet? Well, first of all, it's just so much easier when you're dealing with intricate dies in adhering them all together. That's my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me if you don't want to. But how great is it that I can just take this, let me grab my take your pick because I do need some help. And I crossed over where the adhesive wasn't there. It's okay. It's no big deal. So I'm just going to peel this off, right? And of course, like I said, I crossed over a couple pieces, so I had a seam there. So I'll have some little bits to pick off. I want to show you that because you could run into this unless you do it right in the middle of where you've got your adhesive sheet. But you know, we don't like to waste any of that stuff. Oh, good. You're liking this one? Yay! Reds and purples. Yeah. Can take a little bit longer. Yeah, I can see that. For drying, Jean, is that what you're talking about? Because of the depth of the color? Is that what you're thinking? I could see that. Real red. Real red is the one color that no matter when I stamp it, what I stamp it on, I have to let it dry because for whatever reason, it's never dry when I think it's dry. Most of our colors dry super quick and you can touch them almost immediately. I try not to just because. So I am just literally laying this on top of the other one. And I'm doing that intentionally. You're like, why? Why would I do this? Hey, Lane, so glad you're here today. So I'm doing this because I want to make this thicker. I want it to be to have a little more oomph to it, right? To give me a little more wow. So you could stack multiples of these. I'm doing 2 of the cardstock and then 1 of the Shimmer Vellum, but you could add additional ones, right? It just adds a really nice height. And it's a little different than popping it up with dimensionals. Okay, all I'm doing is poking my finger there. So let's try another spot. Don't have any good nails to pull this up. So I'm just trying to get my take your pick. And this one, I caught the full sheet and that vellum is pretty darn thin. So I'm having a little moment to myself where I can't get it off. I'm probably trying too hard. I know I put adhesive sheet on the back of this. Wouldn't that be funny? Have you guys ever done that? Like thought you had adhesive sheet on the back of something and then you sat there and picked at it until you could get it to pull off, only to find out that that's not actually what you did. I have people do that all the time with like glimmer paper that has that finish on the back, because sometimes I put adhesive sheet on stuff for glass and sometimes I don't. I'm not very nice, am I? So I try to remember to tell people. Okay, I got it, finally. Arthritis, gotta love it. Okay, so we're just gonna lay this right on top. Now I could have done this with white cardstock underneath as well, but I really, because this is vellum I'm using on the top, it's gonna show some of the color through. So I really wanted to just keep it all green. So now I've got this nice, I don't know if you guys can see, it's got some thickness to it, right? All right, so last thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna fight the backing paper one more time and get it off this full stack. And of course, there's a seam. That would make it too easy if there wasn't. Yeah, no. All right. Hopefully I'm not deterring you guys from giving this a try. I promise the adhesive sheets are great. It's terrible, isn't it? All right. I think I got my bits off here. Now, we're just going to bring this in and put this little image right on top. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a press because I've got this texture going on. And I do want that one flat. You could have it loose if you want to have it loose. It's entirely up to you. But isn't that gorgeous? That Shimmer Vellum just adds a special touch. And it's so fast and easy, really. It's a simple thing to do. All right, let's add some bling. It's not finished without a little bit of an embellishment, right? It would be perfect as it is, but let's add a little bit more to make it even better, right? All right, polished dots. One of my favorite new embellishments that is in the mini catalog. I don't know if you guys have played with these yet, but I think they are fantastic. Definitely my favorite. And we'll put one down here. You know, I like to work in the odd numbers. 3 is always fun. Sometimes I'll put more, but I'm going to go with the 3. All right, so I'm going to bring in both. And you can see on this one, I let some of these ends come up. I actually cut it so I didn't have adhesive sheet all the way out to the ends. And I did that on purpose because I wanted that to curl up. Now this one I wanted flat, just to kind of show you the difference in the look that you can get. Both of them I think are fantastic, right? Do you guys love it? Such a different way to go about it, I think. But it's such a great technique. And I hope you guys can find a reason to use it, right? You could do birthday cards. Wouldn't that be fun, right? A little candle, a party hat, a cake, and spot like that. You could do it in bright, cheerful colors. It doesn't have to be tone on tone. Oh, Jean, you're also a fan of the polished dots. Yeah, they are just fantastic. Just fantastic. I love them so much. Oh, good. Simple and elegant. I love it. Good. Yes. Yeah, so I hope you guys will try this one. And enjoyed this project today, and really take a look at this wonderful product suite, this artfully layered stamp and die bundle. Granted, the suite's got lots of other great products in it as well. There is a printed vellum that is really nice. There's that nice thick chunky white frayed ribbon, which is orderable again, or at least it was the other day. I was able to finally order my ribbon for our product shares. So those that ordered those with me will hopefully those will be arriving soon, and I can get those out to everybody. And then there's some really cute little polished stone embellishments as well, which would be equally cute on this. I just love these polished dots, right? Good. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I very much appreciate it. Don't forget, if you're enjoying the videos, to share them with your crafty friends. If you're watching me on the replay, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, right? Help me reach more people. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a great week. And I will catch you next Tuesday for a little more crafty fun. All right. Bye for now.